Hello, guys. This is To Be Continued. I'm here to talk about another, somewhat controversial topic that popped up. Trump's comments about Canada. Now, to be clear, I think he's kind of joking at, you know, as a negotiation tactic. I don't think there's any serious plans of annexing Canada or making it a 51st state. And to proceed with the question, should the United States annex Canada? The short answer, no, absolutely not. As a conservative, I do not believe this is the proper way to engage with our northern neighbor. We shouldn't really be annexing it. Now, I think this is all, a ploy for negotiations, better trade deals. But I kind of want to look at it in a what if scenario. What if Canada did join the United States? How would it work out? And how many, votes could it get? Each, either as one or as multiple, and we'll see. Before we move on with the what if scenario, I want to look at what the Constitution says about the appointments of the representatives and the senators. So in Article 1, sections 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8-ish sections talk about the Senate and representatives. So in section 1, it says all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Section 2, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualification requisite for each electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. And it talks about the requirements and then what they do. And then for the Senate in Section 3, it says, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature, therefore, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. So the Constitution, each state has to have 2 senators. And then for the representatives, it's based on the population. So one of the numbers after research that was thrown around and what I'm using is the number of 1 seat per 749,423.08. So that's what I'm going to be using. When I was calculating the seats for the House of Representatives, the Senate was pretty easy, just 2. So yeah, here goes the what if part now. So here I have a Canva doc, which I put my work in. So we got the 1 seat equals 749,423.8. So if Canada was just the 51st state, has a population of 40.1 million, it would net it about 53.5 or 54 seats in the House, 2 seats in the Senate, with an electoral college count of 56. And speaking of which, after some research, it's basically for the electoral college, it's the amount of House seats plus the Senate seats. So now, if I was dividing the 10 states, because one thing that I am excluding is the Northern Territories and Prince Edward Island, because Prince Edward Island does not have the population to kind of justify it. Well, not really justify it being a state, but to put it, as a state, quote unquote. And then the Northern Territories, like Yukon, Nunavut, those obviously have very low population at all. And most likely we could see Alaska just annexing the Yukon, so that we can get a transportation between the main Alaska part and the capital. So for the first part, we got Nova Scotia. It has a population around 1 million seats. It'll net it 1.42 seats, or 2 seats in the House, 2 seats in the Senate, and an electoral college count of 4. New Brunswick, a population around 775,000-ish. It'll net it in the House 1.03 seats, or just 1 seat. Senate, 2 seats. so it would be an electoral college of 3. Labrador and Newfoundland has a population of 545,000, so net amount 0.72 seats or 1 seat. Senate would be 2 seats, so electoral college would be 3. Do you want to kind of do a weird circle back? And yes, I think Prince Edward Island has something a little bit below like 100,000, but after digging up, because I thought in the Constitution it was around 600,000 for a state, but we got states like Wyoming, which has a similar population of Labrador and Newfoundland or Delaware. So that's why I've included this and not, you know, Prince Edward Island. Moving on, we got Quebec, which has 8,501,000 ish seats. Net amount in the House 11.3 seats, or just 11. Senate 2, bring the electoral, with the electoral college count of 13. For Ontario, has a population of 14,223,000. In the House, it will net 18.97 seats, or 19 seats. Senate would be 2 seats, so the electoral college count would be 21. Manitoba has a population around 1,342,000. In the House, it will net 1.79 seats, or 2 seats. In the Senate, 2. Electoral college will be 4. I'm going to stop, listening to Senate because there's all 2 seats. So for Saskatchewan, it has a population around 1,132,000. It'll net it in the House 1.5 seats, so it could be between 1 to 2 seats. So going on the higher end, the electoral college count will be 4. Alberta has a population of 4,368,000. In the House, will net around 5.82 seats, or 6 seats. So bringing the electoral college count to 8. And then for British Columbia, has a population of 5,879,000. It'll net it around 6.67 seats, so around 6 to 7 seats. Going to the higher end, the electoral college count will be 9. So as you see, it's more likely if they were to join the United States, each province would become its own state. Because if it became just one giant state, it would just have only 2 Senate seats compared to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. So 18 Senate seats compared to 2. Politically speaking, it'll probably be better if each province becomes its own state, if those was, Canada were to join the United States. So looking on the map, which we'll get to very shortly. So I have a electoral college map made. So this is up to the threshold that I mentioned, and each one has been filled out, and these aforementioned territories that will not be counted have been disabled. Now note that in Maine and Nebraska, I had to split them because it's not like the other electoral college maps you can do, and then DC is added with Maryland. So using the 24 results plus Canada, Republicans will have 328, with the Democrats 246, and then a block 13. Because I used both the 21 Canadian federal election as well as this map to kind of base the results in Canada, just equating the Conservative Party in Canada with the Republicans, the Liberal Party with the Democrats. You might be wondering, why do we have the Quebec Independence Party here? Because I doubt they would really appreciate being part of the United States and would just run their own candidate. So that's just keeping Quebec as a 13-point win for them, I guess, in the Electoral College. And I'm kind of interested with the whole swing state. So I have a map of what I think could be the potential new swing states. Got Manitoba. If you look at the 21 election there, you see while the Conservative Party had 7, Liberals had 4, and this NDP, which is the New Democratic Party, and it just I think according to Wikipedia, it's kind of like a more left wing party. I don't know if Canada were to join the United States, how their political parties would handle, like will they still be mashed together? Would they be separate? Or would they kind of join the American ones? So I'm just going to assume that there is some, combination between the Liberal and the NDP. That's why I have it very close to a Republican win on this one. Though you could put as a lean D, bringing them up to 250. But I think that's going to be a swing state. Ontario could be a swing state. Depends how well, without the cities and the rural areas, but probably most likely a Democrat leaning swing state like Ohio is to Republicans. They got New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. I think either one could be a swing state in any ways. Because how can this affect? So let's say the Democrats say got Georgia, North Carolina. Let's say you also have Arizona. They'll push over the threshold. With Manitoba, will not reach the threshold. New Brunswick, it will be New Republicans close with only 2 points. Nova Scotia, they'll reach that threshold. Now you could now if a Republicans say when Georgia and Arizona, but boom boom, still have enough, but they still have Manitoba. You can have Democrats win Michigan, but with even just this one province, they'll still reach the point to elect a president. That's why at least Manitoba and the New Brunswick and Nova Scotia would be most likely swing states. I don't see any of the Plains provinces becoming swing states because what here on here on the internet is like Alberta's kind of like the Texas of Canada. I could be wrong. If there's any Canadians that do come in the comments, let me know. That'll be very interesting, kind of like the parallels and whatnot. Once again, I would like to reiterate that this is unlikely to ever happen, at least not in my lifetime. Now, I can see a more realistic scenario where both countries kind of form their own EU type of union, because that would deal with a little bit more of the logistical nightmare that joining the United States could have. Because if Canada were to join the United States, you have to deal with passports, roads, currency. But with like a EU type of union, it'll be better. You can take sweet time, figuring out all the details, and it could promote more stability between both countries. Now, obviously, I think what Trump's trying to convey is more of a negotiation tactic rather than a outright, we're going to annex Canada, we're going to do it, we're going to march our tanks in. But it's kind of funny just to look at the reactions on the X. You got the liberals, they're going, how dare Trump threaten our closest ally? But they realize that this is, kind of, the Trump speak. Exaggeration, you know, off the cuff jokes. It's all part of negotiations. And you can kind of see this, more of a symptom with the DNC paid, you know, ex users because they say a lot of the same things. It's kind of like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. marching orders. Now, I don't doubt that the RNC has some paid influences too, but the DNC paid ones, the more obvious. Now, that's it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, have a good night, good morning, good evening to wherever you are at. Bye.